Man, I'm rip roaring ready to go. I'm fired up on my side. You got everything ready on your side?
Yeah, are we going to be able to put a link to this to these matches?
Yeah, ROHWrestling.com. That's
Okay.
Honor Club. I just went through all that. I'm sorry. It's
Okay.
ROHWrestling.com.
So all these matches are together on Ring of Honor, right?
I'm telling everybody where to get them. It's unified August 12th, 2006 at
Okay.
ROHWrestling.com as a part of their Honor Club membership.
Gotcha. I thought these were like just a couple of matches that we had put together on our own, but no, you can.
The link that you have is different from what everyone watching at home is going to do. They're going to join Honor Club at
Well, good.
ROHWrestling.com.
All
They're
right
going to look
then.
for Unified. It went down on August 12th, 2006. Now, we made it easy for old man Schiavone.
All right
You
then.
just click play, you see.
All right then.
If you'll give me the countdown, we'll start watching wrestling anytime now, Tony.
Got a special countdown. The special countdown. We were in the Atlanta area. We were visited by President Joe Biden this weekend.
Hey, now.
He gave the commencement speech at Morehouse College. There were some protesters, as always, wherever we go or wherever the president goes. But I, being from Virginia, I spent some time going to the coast and then going up to the Delmarva Peninsula, and I used to stop and see the in Delaware and see the Briscoes, get a couple of chickens, uh, and then I used to go on to where Joe Biden lived and would sit down and talk to Joe. And this was long before he became president, when he was just in Congress. So we've been fast friends. So he stopped by the house, especially he knew he could stop by the house this weekend because Lois was in New Jersey and she wouldn't chase him off the property. And I asked him, I said, Joe, can you, I'm sorry, I said, Mr. President, could you give us a countdown? And he said, yeah, I guess I could. And he went 3, 2, 1. I said, no, not now. Not now. I said, let me record it. And he said, okay. So here we go. President Joe Biden with our countdown.
Hey, this is your President Joe Biden. I'm supposed to say something here about those two guys. What's the names? Oh, yeah, Conroy and Tommy. And I guess it's time to count down. Now, hold on. I can do this. Ready? Set. No, wait. I got it. 3, 2, 1. Play.
Bryan Danielson, Nigel McGuinness. Here are the rules of this match. You each get 3 rope breaks to break up a pinfall or a submission attempt. Once you use those 3 rope breaks, the ropes will play and can be used by your opponent, but it cannot be used by you to break up a pin or a submission. There is a strict 20 count on the floor. There will be no close-stitch strikes to the face. On the first close stitch, you'll be issued a warning. On the second, you'll be penalized a rope break. And if you have no rope breaks left, you will be disqualified. And in this match, both the pure title and the world title can change hands on a countout or a disqualification. In the event of a double pin, double countout, or double disqualification, the match will be restarted. Do you both understand these rules? Yeah. Please shake hands, go to your corners, and wait for the bell.
It's to me very interesting. A couple of things here: how young Bobby Cruz looks, how young Bryan Danielson looks, and how big freaking Nigel McGuinness is.
18 years ago. Yeah, I of all the guys, because my friends and I first started watching Ring of Honor. I mean, we were familiar with it back in 02, but it wasn't until 04 that I started paying a lot more attention to it. And once I started paying attention to it, I started to realize, hey, you know what? These guys are going to wrestle for the WWE at a really high level. And at this point, of course, TNA is still a viable number 2, but they're way behind WWE. But I just thought, okay, there's going to be a handful of these guys who are going to break through and be megastars with WWE. And Nigel McGuinness would have been at the top of my list. He had the height, he had the size, he had the the in-ring work. I mean, he just had everything. I thought for sure he was can't miss. And then, of course, we knew that he had some medical stuff, and that
Right.
was not going to be the case. But even here, I thought Bryan Danielson was probably the best wrestler in the world, but I thought, well, Nigel's the one of the two who will make it, though. Like, Danielson will be, I hate to make the comparison to Sabu, but you remember back in the early to mid 90s, Sabu was like the guy you heard about on the indies. He was
Right.
king of the indies. So I kind of thought that's what Bryan was going to be. He'll be the best wrestler in the world, but he's probably going to be independent. I just didn't think Vince would get behind him. And as luck would have it, Nigel never worked there. I mean, not as an in-ring performer like we would have imagined. And Bryan Danielson became one of their very top stars. I just wouldn't have guessed that here. I thought for sure it would be Nigel.
Yeah, Nigel looks great. He's big, he's strong. And just a couple of things about Ring of Honor. I didn't know anything about Ring of Honor, as you know. I didn't know anything about anything in wrestling at that time. I knew that TNA was out there because I had done something with them right at the beginning. So I knew they were out there doing things. The only thing I knew about Ring of Honor was that Gary Juster worked for him. And that was about the extent of it. So when Nigel is talking about on TV Bryan Danielson, I remember starting to think, ooh, he must have a history with Bryan Danielson.
Right.
And I was not familiar with it. And this is the first time that I've seen the two wrestle. So this is pretty exciting for me. One of the guys I respect more than anything else, Bryan Danielson, and my colleague who I just absolutely love working with. How about that left-hand slap, man? The face. Who I just absolutely love working with, Nigel McGuinness. I have so much fun with him. He makes me laugh a lot. And so this is really pretty special. It really is.
These guys were in the ring, according to Cage Match, 37 different times. The first time they were in the ring was a trios match. Look at the talent in this one. This was way back in 05. Bryan Danielson teaming with Samoa Joe and Vordell Walker. Boy, that's a blast from the past. You would have loved Vordell Walker, a South Georgia boy.
Okay.
Taking on James Gibson, who we know is Jamie Noble, Nigel McGuinness, and Spanky, who we know as Brian Kendrick. What a loaded freaking match that was. That was way back in 05. They would have a singles match for the first time the following year in 06. That was ROH Weekend of Champions, and that was title versus title. They would do it again in July, this time in Cleveland. I guess there's two back-to-back in Cleveland. And now this is the unified event. So this is their rubber match, I suppose. The first time Nigel McGuinness beat Bryan Danielson. The second time Bryan Danielson returns the favor. So we're squared up at one apiece. This is the end of their little trilogy, or so we would think, because they were doing it again just 2 weeks later. I mean, it became a legendary feud for Ring of Honor, but I think a lot of people were making the comparison about these guys, the way they had CM Punk and Samoa Joe a couple years prior. And at the time, people were saying, hey, that was the best trilogy since Flair Steamboat. I don't know about all that, but it got Ring of Honor on the map again in 04 with some positive news after a little bit of controversy. So for them to come back and do a big feud like this in 06 with two other guys who people thought were the best in the world, this was right up Ring of Honor's alley.
This is good stuff. It's starting out very, very slow, but that's okay. You know, you can build up to it. And I'm really enjoying it. Nigel I'm just again blown away about how big he was here. And I mean, not only muscular, but how tall he is here.
Yeah.